What's up, guys?
So, Kamaru, I've got to say that is quite an outfit.
Thank you, thank you.
So what's fight nights like this like where, usually you guys are sometimes on the same card, but this time you're going to be watching on for Rose and Justin. What's this fight night like for you?
Very nerve-wracking because at the end of the day, I can't control anything that's going on inside that octagon. So, yeah, definitely very nerve-wracking, but these guys are prepared. These guys and gals have prepared. They're both special athletes in different rights. So, I'm not worried, but I'm worried.
Yeah. You also had some fun training with Michael Chandler. I saw some of your Imanari roles. Are you starting to bring those into your repertoire?
Like, who in here doesn't think I could do an Imanari roll if I wanted to? Yeah, I can do. It just so happens that I didn't even realize the camera was in the building at that time. We were just playing around. Of course, I got to lighten the mood for him because, he's been training for months and months on end, preparing for this guy. And, that wasn't a moment for him to be serious. That was a moment for him to have fun. So we were having fun.
Let's talk about you now. How is the hand?
The hand is doing a little better. Saw the doctor this week. And I can start making light contact with the hands. That's just what sucks with these things. It's when you're dealing with tendons, they're a lot tougher to just heal right away, especially when they're on top of the knuckles.
Do you have any sort of timeline for a full recovery?
I can't. I don't want to. I hate being wrong. So I don't want to throw a time on it. But just rest assured, I want to be in there as soon as possible.
So, but presumably by the end of the year at least, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What did you make of the recent Hamzat Gilbert Burns fight? I'd love to get your take on it.
It was a good fight. I think a couple of things here and there on both sides. I think one of those guys might have got that finish, but it just goes to show that anybody's beatable. Anybody's beatable. Gilbert went out there and he did what he had to do. Gilbert's a warrior. He's a warrior. I've known that for a long, long time, and I'm glad that he got the opportunity to show the world that he's not done, because it was a lot of disrespect going into that fight. They kind of wrote Gilbert off and were treating him like he's a second-hand citizen. It's just there. Well, Gilbert went in there and he showed that he's a true warrior and he belongs at the top of the division.
Is that one of those fights where even though he lost, he still...
Well, I'll let you guys think about that. Of course.
Obviously, Leon is supposedly next for you, but when you see someone like Hamzat on the come-up, does that excite you as a champion because there's a lot of hype around this guy? That means more money in your pocket. Do you look at him like that, or do you just look at him as a competitor that you're going to have to fight?
I mean, he's a competitor. Each and every one of these guys in the divisions are competitors. And so I take them as competitors. I take them that serious. But, as far as putting anything extra on anybody just to try to give them a boost, I don't really care about. Gilbert Burns was just as tough of a fighter as Kobe Covington, just as tough as Jorge Masvidal. So, I don't really try to put anything extra on these guys. Of course, I love the extra zeros on the check if they bring that much eyeballs, but at the end of the day, they're just competitors, and I see no face.
You just mentioned Jorge and Colby there. I'm curious what you think about their little...
I was a little disappointed in that. I expressed my disappointment via Twitter. I was disappointed in what they did, but at the end of the day, that's how life goes. You say certain things that push certain buttons, certain guys react a certain way, and we saw the result of that.
Do you think, it's hard to make you answer this question, but I'm curious, as a fighter, do you sort of get it? Do you think Jorge has some justification in doing that? Like, he couldn't get it done in the cage, but he still has an issue with the guy. He wants to make the guy pay for some comments.
I don't think anyone had his justification to do that. It's like, it's two guys in here right now started fighting. There's no justification for that. As a man, you should be able to, use your words, as your parents would say, but if you can't, sign contracts in the UFC, step in the cage, and handle business.
Last one from me. Elsewhere tonight, there's another guy that you've had an eye on, Canelo Alvarez is boxing. Curious how the talks about that are going, and if you think he's sort of... I know that you guys had your back and forth on Twitter. What's your take on Canelo recently?
At the end of the day, it is what it is. Canelo is the best pound-for-pound boxer. I am the best pound-for-pound mixed martial artist. I'm the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. And so I was courageous enough to want to challenge myself in that way. And he's not. And the only thing that he could say is payday. Let's be honest. He fights me, it's the biggest payday of his career. I fight him, probably the biggest payday of my career because it's something that's never been done before. So make no mistake about that. Yes, it's a payday for both guys. But at the end of the day, I'm courageous enough to step in there and do your sport because you're not man enough to step over here and do this sport. And so it is what it is. Like I said it, mano y mano, you lock us both in the room. I'll let you guys decide who drags the other guy's dead body out of that room.
Speaking of payday, Conor McGregor says he'd like to fight you upon his return. That would obviously be a nice payday for you.
All I have to say is payday.
All right. Were you surprised that Canelo responded to you on Twitter? He seems to be one that doesn't really react to when people call him.
I mean, we're similar guys in our respect. We respect what we do. We respect each other. But got to the point where, I wanted a challenge. I wanted a different challenge. And so that's why I voiced it. I never once disrespected him. Never once said anything about his family or anything about that. No, that's not who I am, and that's not who he is. So, I think it got to the point where he realized that if enough people ask you about it, which means enough people are curious about it, then you address it, and he did.
I guess, were you surprised that, you guys are obviously competitors, so he knows who you are, but that all started with him responding to Ali. So were you surprised that he even responded to him at first?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And that's the thing about Ali. Ali's going to, voice whatever he feels or whatever he thinks, and there's nothing wrong with that. If he wanted to ignore it, he could have ignored it. But he said something back, and so, was I disrespectful when I said anything? I said, no, let's all relax,
I know you said you were disappointed in the Jorge Masvidal and Covington thing, and you reacted to Gilbert, but those two seem to be kind of matchmaking. They want to fight each other, Gilbert and Jorge. So what do you think of a matchup between those two?
I think it's a phenomenal matchup. I think, phenomenal matchup. And with where Gilbert Burns is right now, I think Gilbert Burns can go out there and, he's already proven that he belongs at the top of the division. So I think that would be another good fight for him.
Hi, Kamaru over here. Charles Oliveira missed weight yesterday, and as a result, he's being stripped of the title. I know that's not your weight class, but what are your 2 cents on that?
It's tough. It's a tough thing to do. But when you're at the top of this, you have to be that professional. You have to know how to get up there, and you have to know how to because at the end of the day, that's the biggest fight before the actual fight. And, any wrong calculations, you're in this situation. And as a champion, you can't afford to do that. You have to be on every moment. So, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, Justin Gaethje still gets his wish. He goes out there and executes. He becomes the lightweight champion of the world. And that's the goal. And that's what, we're here for.
What did it mean for you to be featured on GQ? You're one of the best dressed fighters, if not the best dressed fighter on the roster. So what did that mean for you?
It means a tremendous amount. Like I said, we work each and every day for everything that we get. And so to be recognized in that way means a lot. But, I aim the flame each and every time I come out here. So as you guys can see.
And one last one for you. If an actor had to play Kamaru Usman in a movie, what actor would that be?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I would have to say, of course, he's a lot older than me. I would have to say probably Jamie Foxx. It's probably that would be the wise choice. But of course, he's older than me.
Great casting.
Yeah.
I like Idris Elba in that role, but
that too. My man, that too.
What's up, Kamaru? You are a UFC champion. You're a global superstar, but you're also #1 pound for pound, not boxer, but #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. So when you see your name next to that #1 pound for pound, what are the emotions and thoughts that go through your head?
Really nothing. I don't really think about it, just like I didn't think about when I was 6-1, 7-1, or 8-1. I don't think about it. Once you do the right things and you prepare the right way, those accolades start to rack up. And so it's surreal to me. Like in my house, I just brought my belt out of, I found it in the closet in the guest room. And it's surreal to me when you kind of start putting them up. There's a lot of different awards up there, but those, they mean nothing to me. As long as I'm the one putting in the work, that's the journey.
And if Rose and Justin were able to secure wins tonight, that would mean 3 champions under Trevor. What would that mean to you, to Trevor, to the gym?
That means a whole lot. That's why we're here. That's why I'm up here looking like this right now. You know, I'm looking like this in preparation to be able to hop that railing and run up in that cage right there. It would be unheard of. You know, we have 3 athletes that we dedicate our lives to this, and it shows each and every time we step in there. So, you know, if Rose goes out there and executes the way she does, she remains a champion, and Justin Gaethje goes out there and executes, becomes a new champion. And we've got the 3 Musketeers.
And lastly, Justin was seen walking into the arena in a Muhammad Ali sweatshirt. I saw you maybe 2 weeks ago rocking a similar Muhammad Ali sweatshirt. So what does the late, great Muhammad Ali, how has he inspired you throughout your mixed martial arts career?
Well, he's a people's champion, and that's what we aim to be. Justin Gaethje is a man of the people. When he steps in there and competes, he competes for the people. For the life of me, sometimes I tell him, man, don't just go in there and trade, but he just loves to entertain the people. He's a people's person. So, you know, Muhammad Ali was just that, the people's champion. So, you know, he's a man that we look up to, not just of what he did inside that ring, but what he did outside as well.
Good luck, Kamaru. We're all wishing you a speedy recovery.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.